Hello friends, welcome. If we've met before, it's great to see you again, and if not, hi, my name is Taylor, and welcome to Taylor's Table Talk, because there is indeed a table here. We are back with another reaction video for Our Flag Means Death, and by reaction, I mean it's a rewatch, but I'm also reacting, so a rewatch reaction, they are one and the same. Hi everyone, an alternative Taylor here. I just wanted to quickly pop up in here because basically, when I recorded this video, it was still during the time of the WGA strike happening, and probably a few weeks, a week or so, I don't even know how long before the SAG strike happened, but before the SAG strike had actually happened. Basically, I want to give you a quick little summary because I don't feel like dragging this out like crazy. If you really do not want to hear any of this little bit, I'll leave a timestamp because just in case I might accidentally draw this out. But in summary, when SAG went on strike, I had begun to rethink things in terms of the things that I was posting and putting out in terms of content, especially with different rules that SAG was putting out there pertaining to the strike, and rules for both SAG members and non-SAG members, and mainly non-SAG members, meaning people who are not part of the union but wish to hopefully someday join the union, like people like me. And so, not to get into the nitty-gritty of all of that, but basically I decided to make my own personal choice in the matter, in that I just wanted to put a hold on any of the content that I was putting out that could be in relation to struck work. Whether that be cosplay content, whether that be posting or discussing and talking about things that I watch, or be making YouTube videos like this where I am making my rewatch videos and deep dives and commentary videos and so on and so forth. And I want to emphasize that this is a personal choice that I made, and that there are people I know that made very similar choices like I did. There are others who didn't, and it is all a lot of individual things that go into it. Again, I am someone who is an actor. I'm not in the SAG union, but I would like to join the SAG union someday. So there was that aspect that made me think, you know, it might be better to just put a hold on things, especially because it is something that has no negative impact on me for me to not be putting out content. Like, all of this sort of stuff, like, this is what I do for fun. This is not how I make a livable wage or how I pay my bills and things like that. And so it really, there was nothing that was harming me to put a stop in this content on my side of things. And the perspective I had on it, and again, a very personal perspective, this is not something I want to put onto other content creators and stuff like that. Like, this is all a very personal and internal analysis that I had. But the videos that I make, while I am not making any money off of these, and while I am not being paid by any networks or companies and things like that to be making these videos, I am still creating free promotional content, if that makes sense. I am still promoting these shows because I love them, and I'm just sharing my love for them. However, that is in a way influencing, and that is in a way promoting, and it's essentially doing work for companies that aren't paying me anything to do that. And I knew that going into the videos I was making. I don't expect any network to be paying me to be doing this sort of stuff. But it basically came down to that idea of that regardless of anything, I am making a form of promotional content and what someone could look at and see as promotional content. And on top of all of that, it really is just going back to, it's in solidarity with these unions, with SAG, with the WGA, and just, you know, out of respect for these people and for what they do, and wanting them to get what they rightfully deserve. And aside from all of that, basically when the SAG strike started, it also was conveniently around the time of where my life also just got exceedingly more busy and my schedule got a little bit more crazier. Just all these things kind of hit all together at the same time, that like now being able to reflect on the past like few weeks and months, it's been it's been a wild time. I don't even know how long it's been. But reflecting on that time since then and looking at everything, there is a strong possibility that without these strikes happening, I was probably still going to have to go on hiatus because I don't have the most time available to be making these videos, unfortunately. Basically, I kind of just had to prioritize things happening in my life, and again, this is not the thing that is making my livable wage and things like that, so this is just, you know, for me, and it's for fun. And if I have to put it on the side for a while, that's completely fine. It doesn't hurt me in that way. But all those things coming together, that's kind of how we ended up here. And I promise I am trying not to drag this out, so just like one more little tidbit. Basically, while I'm currently recording, me right now, right here, the strikes are still going on. My plan is to have these videos set and ready so that once the strikes are over, I can then resume with uploading these videos. But basically, the most ideal way for me to do this would be to be able to make this section of the video down the line in the future when the strikes are over, because I can then have a better understanding of what the outcomes are, because truly right now as I'm talking, I don't know what the outcomes are. We're still in the middle of a strike. So I can't tell you how long it will be between me even right now recording this to when it gets uploaded. But I basically have to kind of do it like this because I am doing this on a budget here. I am doing this on a very low budget. And I just don't have the space on my phone, which is how I record these videos, and on my laptop where I edit. I don't have the space on either of those to be able to have everything saved onto there. So basically what I have to do, these are small semantics, but basically what I have to do is have my videos, have as many as I can that my storage will allow, and then edit a video, upload it to YouTube under just the private section so that no one can see it, and then I will just have it prepared that I can make it public whenever that time is. But basically that is how I'm going to do, is archive everything privately on YouTube, because that is the only space saving option that I have that will be the most efficient way for me to do all of this, with all things considered. Just in case anyone's wondering why I don't go into the specifics of how the strikes ended and the agreements that happened, it's because when I'm recording this right now, I just don't know, because it just hasn't happened yet. So yeah, but I think that is it. I'm so sorry if that was a lot of talking and nonsense, and I know some people probably just don't care, and that's completely fine. Hopefully if you didn't care, you just skipped ahead and I put a timestamp in there, I hope to God. And yeah, but with all that being said, I will let past me pick up where we just left off in that video, so yeah. And now with all that being said, let's get on with this rewatch, but we can't do that without some mood lighting. So much better. And now it is time for Our Flag Means Death, Season 1, Episode 6, The Art of Fuckery, written by Simone Nathan, directed by Fernando Frías. Cheers.
We've been almost a fortnight aboard the Revenge, and I'm beginning to suspect that Edward has no intention of ending Steve Bonnet's life.
And Izzy's just upset in the background.
I'd say he's somehow become seduced by this imbecile.
Yeah, well, it's been days since I've cut myself on my sword. Oh, no, there you go.
You know what,
He's
Steve?
so dumb.
If you wanted, I could teach you a more advanced trick of the trade. Stab.
Edward Teach, you knew what you were doing there. You knew what you were doing there. I see you, you flirt.
I don't think I want to do that.
No worries, then. I'll just have to shoot you.
Ed, don't shoot me!
Come on, mate. This is it. I'm gonna shoot you in...
They're both so insane.
No!
1, 2, 3!
You happy now? You
Yes.
stabbed you nut.
You managed to avoid all the important bits. Science tells us that all the useful organs are on the right part of the body, so I cleverly took the sword on the left.
What? Is that right? I mean, the
Liver.
Liver? I don't even know what that thing does.
Well,
Thoughts and prayers to Ed's liver.
get it out.
You're just gonna relax a little, and then you just gently tug. You ready? And go. Yeah.
Oh God!
Little tug, tiny tug, little tug. Oh, more.
Oh my God!
Izzy hands.
Oh my God!
Screaming, crying, throwing up.
The Kraken.
The Kraken's not real, though.
I remember when I used to think that.
So the plan off.
Yeah, I reckon we're not killing this guy now. The plan is very much alive. You promised me.
He just seems that he's having an awfully nice time. I mean, look at him. He's telling ghost stories.
This is the most open and available I've ever seen him.
And there, by the corner of my eye, I got a glimpse of something stirring in the brine. Some sort of hideous creature. His tentacles, they rise up out of the water. And before I knew it, they grabbed him. I tried to warn him, but it was too late. The creature had him now, in his grasp, flinging him around before wringing him out like a fucking bar rag. And that poor wretch. That was my dad. You know, I learned something that night. Fear is the most powerful emotion. Turn your enemy's worst fear against them. You'll own them.
I've often said that. I've definitely said that.
Maybe you said it on your own.
Yeah, I may. I may have been on my own. But on that note, yeah, I think we'd all be curious, right, gang?
Yeah. Tell us. Well, maybe I will tell you. Someday. But be careful what you ask your God for. She might just answer.
Something advice ye! There's something witchy afoot.
What are you talking about? Witchy?
Buttons.
How? Anyone seen Blackbeard?
Over here, child! Oh gosh, is that?
That pose. That is Edward Teach in his truest form.
You bit me, what the fuck?
I thought you were the demon boy!
Or am I here?
What?
Oh, face me, Edgar!
Sweet no!
Oh, whoa, hey, okay, boys, give it a rest. We're gonna man overboard.
Steed is in love. I have a question. Like, I know we've thrown historical accuracy out the window. Is there an actual, like, historical accurate explanation for all of this? There probably is. Like, I think that there's probably an actual semi-similar explanation as to how this all could have worked. Because, like, my theater kid brain is going, oh yeah, they got a fog machine, or they got some dry ice going. But, like, they don't have a fog machine. They don't have the technology for that. I don't think they just have easily accessible dry ice. How did they get the fog going? Then there's, like, the whole magic part of it all, which, like, that I can't even explain. I wouldn't know how to explain any of that to anyone. Then we have that whole fireworks moment with the grand reveal of him coming down. Historically speaking, I think fireworks did exist. So I will grant them the sparklers. Why they just have some, actually, I believe Steed would just keep some fireworks aboard, so. Then we just have Ed harnessed up, descending, having his old defying gravity moment. Which also, like, in theory, yeah, you probably could, just, rig up some rope and make a harness. I would love someone trying to explain a historically accurate way that you could actually do this. in the 1700s. That's also why I love this show, though. Like, historical accuracy, out the window. Forget about it.
Brilliant.
Exactly. Or as I like to call it, the art of fuckery.
Theater kids.
Sorry, laddie.
It's my theater kids.
Triggered my fight or bite response.
Why do I have a splinter?
Oh, that'll be from your summer teeth.
Some are teeth. Some ain't. I'll always come back to my 50-50 with Buttons. I love him and fear him all at the same time.
His name is Blackbeard, dog.
Well, I'll leave you to it. Looks like there's trouble in paradise. You get up here and let me out of this thing. I can't feel my balls.
But we need to
Be like
talk.
that. What the fuck you doing with your head between those legs? Stop. Unbuckle the fucking back buckle. No, you're trying to get... Stop, shut up. You're not top here. That's why. No, this is my head.
You seem to know everything about everything in the whole fucking world. It's
Izzy.
I think that's my favorite Izzy scene, is just him, like, climbing up there trying to get Ed down, and then him jumping off and just being so frustrated and at his wit's end.
You left me hanging up there for 20 minutes. Not bloody optimal.
Bloody optimal.
What the fuck's all this?
Do you remember your policy about pets aboard your vessel?
Pets, yeah. No pets. They befoul the ship.
You just said the love of a pet makes a man weak.
I said that?
Yeah, when I joined your crew, you made me put my dog down.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, vaguely remember that.
You're in too deep, Edward. Best thing to do. End it quick.
This is piss.
Someone better give Fang a dog in season 2, I swear. Please.
She's up in doggy heaven now, mate.
Yeah, but we
Two different heavens.
I'll happily end it.
No. It's my mess. I'll do it.
No, you won't.
I thought we could take it through a bit of fuckery.
Oh, mate, that's a bit advanced for you. A good fuckery takes ages to develop.
Much as I hate to admit it, Captain Bonnet's theatrical instincts are finally home. He's more than up to the challenge.
Well, thank you. Maybe I misjudged you.
Let's do it.
Lucius, we've got a
Fuckery on our hands. Okay, here's the thing. I have to side with Steed on this. Like, if there's one thing this man can just do is pull off a fuckery. And I think it's just the theatrics of it all. Like, he's just so theatrical. Like, he already technically sort of, like, it wasn't maybe by Ed's definition a fuckery, but, like, in episode 2, when it was Steed, Olawande, and Black Pete, and they took on Izzy, Fang, and Ivan, like, that was kind of a fuckery. Like, they had Izzy convinced that they were surrounded and that, like, the best thing we should do to resolve the situation, blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, it was a fuckery. Like, that was like a mini fuckery. Out of, like, a lot of things that he can do as a pirate, this is one of the things that, like, he's just naturally good at.
Storytelling. Tell me a story. Go.
Me?
Yes, engage me. Go.
On
the day I was born, the rain looked just like blood.
Boring. Next.
I yearn to make sweet love to the sea.
Whoa, way too personal. Go. Come on, spit it out.
I have one.
Terrible. All of these stories are very bad.
What if I hack up a dummy with an axe? Maybe have, like, meat and guts and stuff coming out of it?
I once witnessed a man eating another man's face once. That was pretty
Buttons
vulgar.
was your life.
That's actually quite a cheap scare. I'm thinking more along the lines of psychological.
I've always wanted to sing.
Singing's not scary.
Well, maybe it doesn't always have to be scary. Maybe sometimes it can be an expression of ourselves.
Anyone smell that? Kind of like a dead person smell.
Come
Oh, Lord above.
Oh my God.
My finger feels like fire.
All right! This rehearsal is already a disaster. Let's take 20. Get him to the infirmary. And that's a taut 20. Fuck!
Thank you, 20. I love director Steed. He's so bitchy. For what?
You're a doctor. I thought you were the cook.
Knives
and
are knives.
Meats
Meat's
meat.
Seems to me the best move here is amputation.
Oh, for God's sake, he's a visual artist. He can't cut the boy's little fingers.
Grab all of it, man. There's no better option.
Not in my professional opinion.
Oh, my dad?
No, baby.
No! Hey, it's just a dream! This is all a dream! Come back!
This is all a dream.
Muse, why have you forsaken me?
So dramatic.
How goes the cookery?
How the fuck? Why are you in here?
What are you doing in here?
I've just been taken in your library, and he adores you. Why, I'll never know, but he does.
I'd like to apologize for my behavior earlier. As total as my theatrical knowledge may be, I did forget the most important thing.
But to be interesting.
Company. We are a company.
Company.
Yeah, we've already figured it out, actually, mostly.
What?
Yeah, we figured out a bunch of like really scary stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sing.
Yes,
yeah,
you
right,
are.
Sweet's gonna sing.
I may have something. Something that'll really plumb the depths.
You're a killer, bro.
Ed.
When they come aboard?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to be raiding them?
Yeah, we reimagine things a bit. Right.
You know what's funny? I don't think they actually ever rated them. Like looking like knowing how this episode goes, they don't raid anyone, they just scare these guys. Their goal really was just to scare these people. And give them an immersive theater experience.
Hello? Anybody home?
Only us spirits from the wretched, burning depths of Hades.
Methinks.
What is wrong, Niederlandska? Have you stumbled onto something?
Beyond your comprehension.
Aha! I am a witch, and this is my cat.
There truly is nothing like live theater.
They can't cut off my finger if there's no finger to cut off. Shit, that was incredible. How'd you do that? I don't know. I'll have to ask the little bugger. Oh, this is my cue. Little Sweet. Yeah, that's our little Nordic angel. Keep watching. Big finale coming up.
And that's on trauma.
Ed. Kraken didn't kill my dad. I did. If I'm honest, I haven't killed another man since. And tonight, I'm supposed to kill you.
Oh, and is that still on the cards, or?
I'm not a good person, Steve. That's why I don't have any friends.
Hey, I'm your friend. No. Listen, what if we just pretended that whole murder idea never happened?
I think I might like that.
I would love that.
Thank you.
That scene, like, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, I think, in that scene. I think the unveiling of a lot of Ed's past trauma and you know, what he dealt with before becoming a pirate and everything, and finding out that the only person that Ed's ever killed is his own father, and besides that, like, he's never killed another person. And I think the emotional impact of that, when it comes down to this idea that he has to kill again, and it's going to be Steed, and it's going to be someone who he's probably felt the most comfortable with, like, ever with a person. Yeah, and like the fact that, like, it's a completely different situation that he was before when he was a kid, and he was a kid who was in an abusive situation, who was witnessing abuse, and he did something out of the protection of his mother and out of the, protection for himself, and against someone who probably in his eyes is probably the most horrible person he's ever had to have in his life, and that person be his own father. That being what that breaking point was in Ed's life, of like, okay, well, this is the person I'm going to kill, and this is the one and only person I've ever killed, who has, like, crossed this really big line that, like, made me have to do this. Then compared to Steed, to where he is so close and comfortable with, and I think he admires and can see the goodness in Steed, and just see, like, yeah, he's not the best pirate, and he does things a little funny every once in a while, but he's a good man through and through. And for him trying to justify, like, why would I kill him? Like, for what? Like, really just asking himself, well, why am I killing this guy? Besides, like, the only reason being for him to be able to essentially retire. And obviously it's not in Ed's character to go through with it, because he knows it would hurt too much to have someone like that who's come into his life, just suddenly him to have to take that person out of his life. And then for Steed, I think there's just very we see a lot about Steed's character, and the fact that Steed gets told to his face, like, yes, I was going to kill you tonight. Like, that was quite literally the plan. This wasn't like just I just recently thought about it, and no, I've been planning on killing you and taking your identity and your ship and all these things. And for Steed to not be upset or be angry, to truly just, like, rather care about what Ed is going through in that moment, and to just say, hey, let's just put it behind us, act like it never happened. Truly, I'm unbothered about this. I just want to make sure you're okay. Like, it says a lot about his character, because I think Steed is very multifaceted, and he has his times where I'm like, yeah, he can be bitchy. But I don't think there's a place in his heart that often holds things like grudges, or at least in a sense of, like, he kind of just is able to not brush things off, but, like, in a way, brush things off for the comfort of others, and in a way disregard his own safety because of that. We love a cast party.
Blackbeard, what did you think? Wonderful fuckery. Hey, scared the pants off me.
I thought Blackbeard didn't feel fear.
And I didn't until today. And you, what a voice!
Oh, come on, don't tease me.
Oh, he's not teasing. You sounded like an angel.
So precious.
Well done.
Steed! Fucking bonnet! I fucking challenge you to a fucking duel! Jim's so excited.
You've taught me well.
Not that well.
Right. I'm assuming standard duel rules apply?
So angry.
Yield or die.
I choose this!
It dirt.
No, stab him!
Okay. I have to talk about this real quick. Editing, Taylor, I don't know if you can slow this down and zoom in for me, but if you can, that'd be fantastic. But there's that, like, little moment in the background that I love so much. It wasn't something I picked up my first time watching, but it was like another time when I rewatched the show, and I kind of was trying to pay attention to a lot more of what was happening, more in the background than instead of like the foreground of the scene. And in the background you can see Jim, and it, to me, how I look at it is it's kind of like Jim is studying Izzy in sword fighting in that moment. Like Jim is studying Izzy's moves and everything. And I just love that little detail so much. Like, it was absolutely brilliant of Vico to do. And it's so small, but it's one of those things, like, I think just, like, as an actor, like, being able to create even a small moment like that can have so much to say about your character, and it leaves so much open to interpretations about that moment. Because the way I look at it is that Jim is excellent with knives, is very well skilled in that area. We don't really ever see Jim with an actual sword, though, so it kind of leaves the question there of, is Jim trained in sword fighting? Does Jim's training have anything to do with sword fighting? And I know Vico did fencing and stuff, so, like, I know from the actor's stance there's also that element, but the question does move over to Jim, being like, does Jim know, like, how much does Jim know about sword fighting, or how much does Jim want to know about sword fighting? And Izzy being the best swordsman on this ship, right next to Ed, like, of course Jim's gonna want to learn from someone who is likely much better than them. And I don't know, I love those little moments, and I think Jim has, like, the butcher knife there too, or the cleaver, whatever it's called. And so I think that's also funny, is, like, doing the movements with, like, having, like, a whole butcher's knife there. But yeah, I love it. And there's, as you can see, there's so much you can go through and pick apart with just that tiny little nugget of movement. But yeah, I love it so much, and, like, it's such a very small thing that's just happening in the background, but, like, picking up on that, just, it makes me so happy, because there's just this extra layer of, like, getting to see a character come through even in the background. And I think the scene is really great too, just seeing a lot of the characters and how they react to what is happening around them and in their environment. It's that same ordeal as, like, when actors just get to kind of let their character's personality come through, even if it's unscripted things.
So it looks like we've arrived, Bonnet. The end of the road.
All right, let's call it a draw.
Nah, I'm good.
Ed. Ouch.
It's made from the finest cherry wood in Brazil. It's rather strong, actually.
Shut up! Don't you ever shut up! You fancy slut!
By dual and tradition, that means
Steve wins!
So is this it, then? You're actually allowing this?
You shouldn't have done it, Miz. We could have worked this out.
You will rue this day, Edward. You will rue it long, and you will rue it hard.
Hey, made you a sandwich for the trip.
Hey, what have you eaten, man?
A fucking touch on all of you.
He's such an angry little man.
Listen.
Not for nothing, but that guy really is a dick.
Yes.
Be gone, you foul thing!
A tad inelegant. Could have skimmed it like a stone or something festive.
I thought I was gonna lose you.
Oh, yeah. We nearly did, because I had a really bad infection. So.
Exactly. And death, you know. I'm used to death, but not your death.
So anyway, I made this for you. It looks like a thumb, but it's a finger. I whittled it. It's dumb. You don't have to wear it.
I love it.
I love that.
And I didn't know you whistle.
There's a lot you don't know about me. Actually, that's kind of it.
It always gets me, that little scene there, just now because I know how this season ends. The Pete talking about being like the thought of losing you and all these things, and oh god. I'm not ready for season 2, and if Pete finds out what Ed did.
You good?
I would love it out.
Yeah. I'll go get someone. You keep breathing.
Thank you,
Okay.
please. It's been a while.
Why did we leave him up there for so long? Like, the duel happened and it was still pitch black out and the sun has risen at this point. I don't know how much time has passed, but he's been up there for a while. Why has nobody gotten him out? Bye, Izzy. Jackie.
So I was thinking, should we serve food? Be a whole other revenue stream, you know, a theme night or maybe singles night.
Shut the fuck up. I don't pay you to think. Food means kitchen, menus, wait staff. You think I want to mess with a wait staff? You think Jackie don't have enough overhead as it is?
I have a more lucrative proposal in mind. If you're open to it.
Get this man a drink.
Oh gosh. Oh, the art of fuckery. I love this episode. I love it from like a very theater kid perspective. And just looking at like Steed and Ed and being like, in an alternative world, they're both theater kids. But really just like an excellent episode. I love the fuckery. I love the bathtub scene that happened. I think what I really love about this episode too is that it's a bit more of an ensemble episode in terms of, you know, you look at like the plot lines happening. It's, you know, Steve doing his little director stuff, but also that kind of all blends into the crew being pulled along into this fuckery, and you have Ed and Izzy going at each other, and Izzy being like, you gonna kill this guy or not? And Ed's being like, yeah, no, I'll do it eventually, maybe. While also having to deal with Lucius having his infected finger. But like, as a whole, like, you really get to see a lot of the characters just shine through in this episode. And I love this cast so much, and I love what they've done with each of their characters. And I think this is just an episode where you really get to see each of their characters shine. And it seems like it must have been just a very fun episode to film, just because it's so chaotic and so goofy in many ways, and everyone's getting all dressed up. So again, yeah, I really love this episode. And of course we're getting like this nice big build up too of like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? Where are we going with this? And like, of course I know where we're going with this at this point, but with the past episode, because we're in this middle point, but in the past episode us getting Nigel brought in at the end here, and then we have Izzy, who has been removed from the ship essentially and going to Jackie, and you're like, oh, what's he plotting there? And seeing how those two endings of these two episodes that basically mark as like the middle of this season, at least, and this is spoilers, but if you're watching this, I don't know why you're watching this if you haven't watched the show yet, because I've been dropping spoilers every time I've been doing this. But knowing that like the English Navy gets pulled into the stuff that's happening, that like Izzy's doing, and like at Spanish Jackie's, and like all of them kind of come together eventually. I believe next episode that's like the big thing that happens at the end of that episode. But seeing like how those two merge together and how they, I won't say work together, but how they come to their agreement, and how that all brings us to like where it takes us for the end of this season. But I could go on and on and on about this episode, but I will save some of my thoughts and opinions for my deep dive. I have been doing deep dives for each of the episodes that I've been watching, just so I can give more of my thoughts and opinions and just keep talking more and more about this fantastic show. So if you find it interesting to hear me talk even more, you can go and check out those deep dives, of course, and there will be a deep dive for this episode as well. But with all that being said, I think I will wrap up this video. So of course, thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to like, to comment, to subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other things. And of course, you can also find me on all my other social medias as well, so you can check me out there. And yeah, I think that is everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye! Also, you can say what you want, but the Swede was the real star of this episode.